Hello and welcome to the Pickup WNBA podcast. I'm your host, Cathryn Niker.
And I'm your other host, Freddie Rivas. What's up? What's good? How's everybody doing? Um, Welcome to the Pickup WNBA podcast. Where can you find us on social media? Certainly a place at the Pickup WNBA podcast on YouTube, on Instagram. Those are the biggies. Those are the ones that matter. What also matters is positive reviews and big time 5 stars, likes, and subscriptions and all those words that because other podcasters say, but Apple, Spotify, it matters. Thank you very, 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 very much. Let's talk some WNBA ball.
Boom, just like that. Just like that. We did have a very big CBA meeting on Monday, 3 hours long. Didn't turn out to be as productive as we all would have hoped. Apparently the owner side did not come with a new proposal as was maybe promised or suggested they would. So rather, they spent the 3 hours essentially going over what had already been proposed. But as well, there are a few new leaks from this proposal, or from the meeting rather, on Monday. And I have a list here. Sorry. Wow. Sorry.
I love that. Can I drop a couple quick thoughts before you get to the list?
Sure.
One, NECA saying that when they started the meeting and there was no proposal, like she knew that it wasn't going to be a very productive meeting, is like,
Sure.
ouch. After all this time, that's the piece of information we all get. Like I have so many casual fans in my life being like, when is the season starting? Like, when do we get to know about the tempo? Like, whatever. And it sucks to tell them that there's just nothing really productive happening. The other part is we simply must comment and enjoy the Kelsey Plum, Nafisa Collier airport missed flight scenario where there were Kelsey was pushing Nafisa. That was great.
The airport. Loved that.
And then I'll let you get to this stuff, but I also feel that you sent me that Sophie Cunningham thing, and maybe we can talk about that after.
Every week I'm sending you a Sophie Cunningham.
I know, and this one's really, I mean, whatever. Sophie contains multitudes, because this one is really serious insight, and it's fantastic.
I was like, you know what? Like, at this point, we could start a third podcast just called Sophie Says. And it's just us recapping whatever Sophie Cunningham has said this week.
It could be like Sophie Says, Marina Mabry does. You know what I mean? It could just be like outrageous Marina Mabry.
Oh my God, we could have a third podcast called Crash Out.
We could.
And then it's just recapping every time somebody had a crash out. Anyway, okay, so here are some of the updates that we have. These are key non-monetary benefits proposed in the new CBA. Okay. Number 1, we got complimentary all-star tickets for all players, pregnant player trade consent, required family rooms during games, new non-birthing parent leave policy. We talked about that a few months ago, actually. Free WNBA league pass, which is like such a, I can't believe that's even on the list, but it's like, yeah, duh. Elimination of marijuana testing, that is new. And more, but those are essentially the highlights. Freddie, any thoughts on these new updates?
Yeah, so you got the league pass one, which is like a bit of a joke, but some of these are quite relevant. So first of all, no marijuana testing. That's huge. When you think about like the political implications of like over policing and kind of like Black people in America being like used as targets with drug crimes, and in sports that obviously not is like it's not criminal, but it still is this kind of like a means in which leagues can control the players and get them caught up in stuff that the public is allowed to do. So I think the marijuana thing is very symbolic and ultimately something that we will look back on in the past as like being pretty draconian rule in the first place, and it's good that it's gone. So I think that it's significant that that's gone for sure. The pregnant player trade consent, like we've talked a lot about everything that went down with sorry, Cathryn, jump in if I'm wrong, Hamby and the Aces.
Yeah.
So like that was huge. The Aces lost a pick, and that was bad press for the league. So I think that that's something, the fact that that's getting sorted out in a meaningful way and coming from the league is showing me that like obviously, you know, money's always going to be the main issue here, but these are some other issues that shows that like there is productive work happening.
Well, yeah, and I think as well, like it's clear that a lot of these things are inspired by things that have happened over the last 5 years, right? Like, I mean, even with the marijuana stuff, like immediately you think of Brittany Griner, right? I mean, I know that was like a thing that happened in Russia, obviously, but she's been a pro marijuana advocate for issues regarding physical pain, possibly mental health, I'm not sure, but I mean, she has used it medically to treat certain things. So, you know, and then you mentioned Dearica Hamby as well. It's like these things aren't coming from like thin air or out of nowhere. Like these are all inspired by like events and like issues that players have had. And, you know, it also just, you know, remarks to how different this league is and the different issues that this league faces, which we've talked about as well in terms of like maternity leave, non-birthing parent, like paternity leave. We just call that paternity leave in Canada if you're a non-birthing parent, because fathers get some paternity leave here in Canada, but I guess that's not the case. That might not be the case in the United States.
And maybe the terminology there is also because of like queerness, I would assume, you know.
Right, but paternity just means parent. So that to me isn't gendered. That's not a gendered term. But maybe so that's why I'm thinking like, oh, maybe they don't have it there. But we have there's a few others here.
Most of our listeners are American, so chime in there with if you're like,
yes, please let us know.
Let us know. Yeah, those are the things for me, like required family rooms during games. Again, it's a family oriented league that matters, and you think about all the kids and stuff. Like it's cute, you know. I love seeing the kids on the court, but I think also it's like the fact that that's in there means, to your point, Cathryn, like that it wasn't there before, which is like what? That seems so. It seems
all employers
small and big at the same time.
Sorry. Yeah, all employers need that. There's other things related to the drug policies that are topics of discussion. We don't have details. We just have the topics of discussion here. We have ability to invest in and have endorsement deals with sports betting, fantasy, and cannabis companies. We also have new treatment programs for marijuana and alcohol abuse, as well as shorter disqualification periods under anti-drug programs. So a lot of, I guess, progress being pushed in different directions around this, around these various issues. I mean, the ability to invest in sports betting, fantasy, cannabis, I can imagine that being a lengthier conversation, but I think I don't think there's anything wrong with investing in a company or being a sponsor, being the face of a sports betting company, but you can't bet on sports as an athlete. Like, I don't think that would be right. Like, I don't think, even if it's not a game you're in, I don't know. I feel like that's more of a gray area, but it has nothing here about players being able to bet on sports. It just talks about being able to invest in those companies.
Yeah, and this is an entire other, like, I feel like we could
Yeah, that's a whole half hour in and of
do a
itself.
whole
I
thing
just thought it was interesting that it is there.
well, and let me just say too, I think a lot of this feels like equalization, and the leagues all over are investing in sports betting. Yet simultaneously they're like, players, whatever money comes through, like, will sort of trickle down to you.
Hmm.
They're saying you can't do this, but we can. So
Hmm.
I think this to me is like very in line with players wanting to do the same things that the league does. And ultimately, the players have the upper hand here when you think about just how far it's gone along in regards to in regards to the league crying poor, and the players being like, we don't believe you, and so we need every other opportunity possible to make more money if your attitude is going to be like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the more money Unrivaled makes and the more profitable they are, the more it makes the WNBA look really bad.
Mhm.
Um, and just so everybody knows, this is on a list of 37 items, and the ones we are talking about are the ones that are lower on the list, just for context. It's just these are things that we haven't discussed yet on this podcast. Things that are higher on the list are revenue sharing, travel, like first class travel being, you know, just I guess in writing, even though that has happened now, retirement benefits, things of that nature. So yeah, very, very interesting stuff. I mean, I think too, like, I guess this moves on into the thing that Sophie said on her latest podcast is that not
Mhm.
all the owners are holding out. Most, like she said, like a lot of the owners are actually pretty chill and pretty, pro player and are on board with this, and that there's just a few that are holding out. She didn't mention names, I don't believe, but I think we know based on the way these owners treat their teams and invest in their teams who they are. Also, the Chicago Sky have had some scandal this week. Their majority owner, Michael Alter, has a lawsuit against him right now by some of the minority owners, in particular, Stephen Rogers, has filed a lawsuit for, quote, breaching his fiduciary duties through financial decisions that allegedly diluted minority stakes. So, a lot of infighting happening here. All of this is ongoing right now. Michael Alter, the majority owner, has denied these allegations, but it is an official lawsuit and it will be going through court. This is an organization that has been, in my humble opinion, a hot mess for some time. I'm not alone in that. And, we've talked about the Chicago Sky many times about having like, a practice facility like an hour away from where they play in what is essentially a community center, and, not having like proper lockers or facilities for players, and how the inequity between playing in Chicago versus playing for an organization like the Liberty or the Aces, for example, is massive. And I think it is in everyone's best interest to even that playing field, and frankly for these other teams to level up. And it's not good that Chicago is going through this infighting while these negotiations are happening, but also like this is my little hot take. For anybody who's like an old NBA fan, it wants me to bring out my inner David Stern and just mess with it. Just put my hands in it and be like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, you're Donald Sterling. I'm going to remove you as owner of this team. I'm going to force you to sell the team. You know what I mean? I'm going to veto this trade. You know what I mean? Like David Stern would just do stuff like that from time to time. And this is one of those situations where I'm like, oh man, I just want to kick this guy out because enough is enough already.
A lot of thoughts I think first things first, this is where me and you are going to have a huge disagreement.
Disagreement? Okay, go
Yeah,
for it.
massive disagreement because anyone who's really into the WNBA like myself understands that it doesn't get better than the Chicago Sky. This is the best run organization.
Shut up.
They have the best facilities. They have the best coaches. They have the best.
You really had me there.
I know, right? But okay, so to the Chicago Sky scandal part of it, we have talked endlessly about, the kind of vagueness around the WNBA is losing money narrative. And most of it's not public, right? So it's always served I'm just gonna put this bluntly. It's always served the cheaper, stingier, more corrupt ownership groups in the W for the narrative to be that the WNBA is this mismanaged, like, sort of like disaster of a league. And then I think what's been happening in the past couple of years, like obviously with Caitlin Clark, but even before that, you've had the Aces ownership bringing in big money and sort of being like, why are these owners like this? The Brooklyn, the New York Liberty also ownership being like, what is going on here? The Minnesota Lynx ownership, the Seattle Storm ownership, like these, like,
Phoenix
really,
as well. Yeah,
Phoenix as well. These really well organized ownerships that are like, hey, we want to invest and grow this league, and other ownerships are really slowing us down and kind of like messing with us. And then with going back to the Caitlin Clark of it all and Angel Reese, like coming in from there and the explosion of the league, you have the Golden State Valkyrie coming in and immediately being the richest franchise in the league. They have a fantastic ownership. Oracle, the Golden State Warriors, are the second most highest valued sports team in the world. So number one is Dallas Cowboys. Number two is the Golden State Warriors. So like that is a type of ownership that is like just incredible, obviously, right? They're rich, Oracle. And then, you have, Toronto coming in, Portland coming in, all these new franchises coming in that are they're coming in to make money. And
they're not afraid to spend money, or at least Toronto has shown by hiring Sandy and making her the top 3 highest paid coach in the league that they're not afraid to spend money.
And so all this back to Sophie's comments, me and you have talked about this before on the podcast, that there's like a quiet but significant like ownership battle going on. There's ownership groups that are, I mean, there was a whole Liberty scandal where they were paying for chartered flights, where the Liberty ownership offered to pay out of pocket chartered flights. This is way before Brittany Griner came back and needed protection. This is way before Caitlin Clark needed protection. This was just the Liberty being like, that ownership group just being like, I am stinking rich, I'll take care of this. And then the other owners being like, don't make us look bad. And so am I surprised? Obviously, it has to go through court and I can't like pass judgment, but I mean, this stinks to high hell, because if you are a Chicago Sky fan, if you were there for the Candace Parker Championship and like just the Kalia Copper and, speaking of Sophie Cunningham, that amazing moment there, but that really, like, that should have catapulted this franchise. And the fact that it was sort of like they were cheap and just think that things keep kind of like getting like grimier, and you have Angel Reese, which is such a gift. And she is like, basically publicly said, like, I'm gonna wait out my contract because it's a legal contract. Like, that's horrible. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine being a Sky fan and having Angel Reese, and then she's just waiting until she can leave? Like,
just fumbling it over and over again.
Chicago's an incredible city. Like that should not be happening. Like, they should be a top-notch location and destination and everything. So it's all ownership.
Here. With that, I think we should move on. And let's get into the latest of our mock draft.
Let's do it.
Okay, so mock draft time, baby. So we're now using the Hoops HQ mock draft. This is the latest one that we have, and we noted last week some of the movement that has occurred. So right now we've got Kiki Rice of UCLA sitting at number 5, and Gianna Kneepkens. Do I have that right?
Kneepkens.
Thank you so much. Sitting at number 6. So I profiled Kiki, and Freddie profiled Gianna. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'm happy to go first. So, I was able to watch a bunch of Kneepkens highlights and some really good stuff on. Oh man, I'm so bad for not shouting out the actual YouTube video because it only had, didn't have a lot of views and deserved a lot more. But the user went through just like if you search Kneepkens 3-point shooting, you'll be able to find it because the YouTuber went through just all of the technical footwork that Kneepkens does to get off her shot, and how it's made her such an elite 3-point shooter. So just Kneepkens overview, like a lot of the players entering the draft that aren't international. She's a 4-year player. She redshirted in her junior year because she had a serious foot injury. She played her first 3 seasons with Utah, the Utah Utes, and then went to UCLA this year. And just she's a 3-point specialist. So I think it's pretty fair to say the best 3-point shooter in the draft. And currently she has the best 3-point shooting, third best 3-point shooting percentage in all of college basketball. So just an absolute pure shooter. She can attack closeouts. She has a playmaking game, and she can score, but really she is just has that super skill, which is the 3-point shooting, and that's going to get you into the WNBA. The last 2 podcasts, I've been like really hot on the players I've been profiling. So Tanaya, I'm like, man, rookie of the year maybe. And then last week, Flau'jae, I'm like, Flau'jae's coming in completely ready, most famous player. So Kneepkens, I'm a little more iffy on. And then it's funny because like now that we're about to get a team, I'm starting to do this dance of like, would I be happy if the Tempo drafted her? And the answer is no. I think I would hope for other players, to be honest. And it's just, I think she's a really complimentary player, but she's an incredible 3-point shooter that's 6 foot.
Right.
So she's not that big. And, you think about the athletic jump when you get to the W, it's going to be substantial. So, of course, I think she'll find her way, but it's a really, really hard league to cut your teeth in. And would I be very surprised if she doesn't get a lot of minutes in her first year? No. And again, with the expansion of the league, there are more spots out there, but we see really talented players get drafted and cut all the time. Not saying that's Kneepkens, but I just watching a lot of her, highlights and the way she's getting her shot off, like she's not getting guarded in the same way that she's going to get guarded in the league.
Right.
Again, though, that talent of 3-point shooting is very special. We've seen someone like Phoebish for the Liberty enter the starting lineup and just like if knock down 3-point shooter, then you have a place, right? You have a place in modern basketball, but it's the other stuff that she's going to have to that I would be a little bit worried about if I was drafting her, and I wouldn't. Yeah, like I definitely don't think she's a top 5, and yeah, I'm not all the way in on her game. I think just because she's a specialist. So that's my Kneepkens scouting report.
Wow, very fair. Very interesting that you say that, Freddie, because I also have some mixed feelings about my player, Kiki Rice. So let's get into that. So Kiki right now, let me just pull up her stats here real quick. So she's averaging 15 points, 6.5 rebounds, just shy of 5 assists on 49.4% field goal percentage. All very impressive. She plays with UCLA, which is notable because she plays with the current number 1, Lauren Betts. And I have a feeling that is why she has jumped in the mock draft, because UCLA is just doing incredible stuff right now. They are on a 15-game winning streak right now, and they're 21-1 overall for the season. So they are like serious favorites to win it all, and she's a huge part of that. In terms of her game, okay, this is what I like, but also this is where I'm starting to have some doubts. So I feel her game is very good, but at this stage is somewhat predictable. And here's what I mean. So she's a guard. She goes down the court. She's always center court. She's looking for her shot first. Very obvious she's always looking for a shot. And her shot is either a 3 at the top of the key, right? Like facing the basket. She rarely hits a corner 3. So that's her range, or that's her sweet spot rather. Or she's driving to the basket for a layup. Okay, so that's what she does. She either pulls up, hits that 3, or she drives to the basket, gets that layup. If they block her at the basket, she will dribble under the basket and pass it out. And I feel like she is doing all of that very well. Everything she does, she's doing at a very high level. But I feel like for the W, her shot selection is going to have to become a lot more versatile, because I watched like 15 minutes of highlights and I didn't see a single shot that was outside of those two things. So where she is excelling beyond that is she's known for having really great defense. Like I said, 6.5 rebounds a game is not nothing for a guard. So she's known for having a high IQ on the court. She's known for her rebounding at her position. She's in the 50-40-90 shooting pace right now.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so it's like she has a lot of great stats. I just think she needs more versatility in her shot selection. So I think that's something that could grow with her in time. She has improved her points per game and rebounds every season. Her assists seem to be tailing off at around 5, but she has improved every year in both of those areas. So I'm not saying she couldn't take a leap in the WNBA. I think she's very capable of taking that leap in the WNBA, but I don't think it's going to happen like season 1. You know what I mean? Like it might take a couple years for that to happen. Also, too, like, I mean, I would have to do further film study to see just how much she is impacted by having Lauren Betts with her. And that's not to take anything from take anything away from Kiki Rice, but it's like when you have a 2-player combo working so well together, they feed each other, right? Like they need each other, they feed off of each other. They're doing so well because of each other. And I don't doubt that she is excelling because of Lauren Betts, but also that Lauren Betts is excelling so well because of Kiki as well. One thing I will say really quickly about Lauren Betts, because I went back and I started watching more UCLA stuff again. Remember my critique about her game being too under the basket. I've noticed in the last month, she is improving her passing, and she is passing the ball outside of the key more. So she's giving me like a touch more Marc Gasol than what I was seeing before with the passing. Like she's getting better with the passing. She's getting better with her a mid-range jump shot. It is surrounding the key. It's not anything far outside of that. But I feel like she is working on expanding her game a bit more outside. So I love to see that.
Cathryn, that's some good work there. But I couldn't help but piecing together a little bit of a puzzle.
Oh,
And I think I got something here. Listeners, see if you can hop on here and come to the same conclusion I have. Okay. This is from the Hoops HQ draft that me and Cathryn have been going off of, that came out January 29th. So we got Dallas Wings projected first overall, Lauren Betts, UCLA. We got Chicago Sky fifth overall, projected Kiki Rice, UCLA. We got sixth overall, Toronto Tempo, projected Gianna Kneepkens, UCLA.
mm-hmm.
We got Indiana Fever, 10th overall, projected Gabriella Jaquez, who we haven't covered yet, UCLA. And then the 12th overall pick, projected Connecticut Sun, Angela Dugalic, guard/forward, UCLA. So that's 5 players in the first round.
They're killing it.
So yeah, I mean, in one hand, they're killing it, right? UCLA Bruins. I mean, by the way, I think we're going to get some UCLA hate, which is probably deserved. But I'll say this.
I don't know if that's true.
I see this sometimes in college where there's a team that is an amazing team. And they're just like, there's a bunch of seniors. They're all like greater than the sum of their parts. And they're just fantastic. And winning is the most important thing. They have one loss in the entire season and second ranked team in the country. So I think everyone's getting the love and respect that they deserve. However, they're a stacked team. And I think that I'm putting more weight on the individual standouts coming into the league than I am these 5 players in this really, really incredible team. Now, it's awesome to kind of like, with you, because
this is what I'm saying, that they're benefiting from each other.
They're all benefiting from each other, and that's awesome. Like you want players that can like take like like Kneepkens took a big statistical hit to play on a better team. When I was talking about Tanaya, she took a big statistical hit to play with South Carolina. And on a better team. So like, I like that, but this is 5 players. So you got to think out of the 5 players getting drafted, projected to get drafted in the first round here, maybe like 2 of them statistically are not going to be like as good as they're projected. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that's my theory.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of this, we talked about it moving around, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, they are moving up in this mock draft and they are benefiting from how great the team is playing right now. So we'll see how that unfolds as things go. Freddie, I think it's time for a fun question.
Freddie's fun question. Here we go. So we were doing, you sent me, I think it was Reggie Miller with Caitlin Clark on the NBC broadcast, comparing Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, we should talk about this for a minute before we dive into the FFQ.
Yeah, so because the FFQ is going to be about comps. We're going to have some fun with comps, but essentially, Reggie Miller was comparing Caitlin Clark to Payton Pritchard, the NBA player in the Boston Celtics, an elite shooter. Incredible, has really sort of like raised his profile in the past couple years.
Yeah, elite shooter, he's not even a starter, I don't believe. Or maybe he has started some games.
He's like starter quality. But I think here's my take with this. People have a tough time properly rating Caitlin Clark. it's either you're all the way like she is like God's gift to basketball, and everyone that came before her in the WNBA is like, should be kissing the ring sort of thing, or you're comparing her to Payton Pritchard. It's like, do you know what I'm saying? It's like, can we get some accuracy here? It's
Yeah.
wild to me that people can't just be chill about Caitlin Clark and be like, this is a generational talent. This is an elite player who's changed basketball. Let's hold off on like she's the greatest player of all time until she does more, right? Can we chill? And then also, can we chill on trying to say that she's average? Like, and
Yeah.
again, Payton Pritchard is, to his credit, he's better than average. He's a really good player. But like, if you're comparing Caitlin Clark to players in the NBA, like you have to start with like phenoms.
Well,
Like
yeah,
you got
because
to start with like Steph Curry or Luka Doncic, or like you really have to go. You have to aim high. You can't pick a player who's never been an all-star.
Well, who's never been an all-star, who is not a consistent starter even, and frankly isn't the leader of their team, most importantly, I feel, at this stage of her career, right? Like Caitlin Clark is
Yeah.
a leader. At least compare her to another leader.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if you don't if you don't want to compare her to Steph Curry because you're like, well, she needs to win 4 championships first. I mean, not my personal opinion, but okay.
Yeah. At
But
least compare her to Trae Young.
Yeah, at least compare
You
to
know what I'm
somebody who's
saying?
like trying to lead a team somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I absolutely get the facial expression she made. I was probably making the same face. I get the backlash for sure. Maybe I don't know how much basketball Reggie Miller even watches these days, to be honest. I mean, I know
Not
he does
enough if he's
not
if
enough.
he's comparing her to Payton Pritchard.
Because he like, he broadcasts a handful of games, but I mean, is he watching beyond that? I don't know. Also too, like one thing I have a personal gripe with is, they were advertising like Caitlin Clark is joining the broadcast team. And you and I thought that meant she was joining the broadcast team. So last week we had fun with like, what would her Ryan Rucco isms be? Like, what are her going to be your fun broadcast like catchphrases? And they only did a pre-game interview with her before the game. She wasn't a part of the broadcast at all. And I'm like, why wasn't this advertised as an interview? Because that's all it was. It was like an interview, and then they did a pre-taped piece with her and Jamal Crawford playing horse, but instead of horse, they're just spelling out NBC. It was kind of lame, but fine, I guess. And that's all it was. So it was just like, I don't know. I felt like those headlines were very misleading, and I was a bit disappointed because I'm like, oh, like she's gonna like jump into what could be a future broadcasting career or something. But an interview is just an interview. Like I was looking forward to Caitlin Clark like giving us analysis.
Yeah,
And
me
stuff.
too. We did a whole FFQ on her potential like game calls.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like anyway, I just found that to be disappointing, and I felt very misled by it. Because I was like, I had the Grammys on mute because I was so excited to see Caitlin Clark. And then when I was like, oh, she's not actually part of the broadcast, I muted the game and started watching the Grammys instead, which was honestly pretty disappointing. The Grammys didn't offer us much at all this year, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest award show person. Like I don't hate them. I just find that like they'll come and go, and people will be like, "Did you watch the Grammys or the Oscars?" And I'll be like, "Oh shit, that was yesterday."
Me and the Oscars, it's like me and friends are gathered around a TV. We have filled out ballots. Like I'm invested. I'm invested in the Oscars. But anyways, okay. FFQ time. Let's go.
FFQ time. So, in the spirit of sort of ridiculous comps, we've been doing this a lot for players, right? Like you're sort of like I comped Flage to Kalea Copper, which other people were doing as well. And I think it's a way for people to see what a future better version of a player could be, right? So they can understand what they might expect in the future. What, Cathryn, is a celebrity that would be your comp? So if you're like, okay, if everything went right for me and and if things were good and just I was killing it and I was, in movies and TV and just had just absolutely blew up. What's your type? Like, what's your character type? What's your celebrity type?
Okay, I love this question. So I have two answers for you. So one, and I'm kind of throwing this to you because I want to see your opinion. I recently have had two friends, like one friend in December and and a different friend last week, both tell me that I look like an ethnic Gina Davis.
An ethnic
Gina Davis.
I just gotta look up Gina
Yeah, you
Davis.
gotta look up Gina Davis, A League of Their Own.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, I'm seeing the curly hair.
I think it's supposed to be more of the face. It's supposed to be more of the face. But regardless,
Okay.
I thought I'd get your opinion on it. It doesn't matter to me if you agree
I mean,
or
Thelma and
disagree.
Louise. That's you could pull off a Thelma and Louise.
There you go. There you go.
You driving off a cliff? No worries. I could see that.
Yeah. In real life, I'm driving off a cliff. But anyway, my celebrity comp in terms of like who I would aspire to be if it all goes right for me would be like a Tina Fey. That is my
Tina
celebrity
Fey, I
comp.
like that a
That's who
lot.
I would
That's a
want to
good
be
one.
because I'm a writer and I love being a writer. I am a stand-up comedian, although I really, when it comes to financially and otherwise, really cut my teeth in writing. So I would love to write my own version of, not to write Mean Girls, but to write a great comedic film. I'd love to create a show the way she did with 30 Rock. Like, that's my comp. That's who I would want to be. I'd be my own Tina Fey.
I love that. That's good stuff. Gina Davis, Tina Fey.
Yeah,
This is why we do the FFQ. So here's mine. I don't have a second because as a person with a very narrow, skinny face, if you're looking at YouTube, I'll give you a nice look here, just how thin this skull is.
Okay, easy. Okay.
I got a thin face, no biggies. It's okay. I like my face. But it's it's narrow. So when people say like, "Oh, you look like this person," or "You look like that person," I often do, and it's like it's part of the
Who are some people? Give us some examples.
So here's the one who was told me by several people, and I'm like, I always liked it because I think he's so cool. Jonathan Turturro.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of people probably know him from Severance most recently. Funny enough, I also picked an old person. Gina Davis is 70, and John Turturro is 68. So we picked geriatrics for ours. But I mean, John Turturro has a fabulous career, and I think like as a character actor who's just been in like really, really cool shit consistently, stands on his own business, So John Turturro, that's mine. I feel like I'm sure there's some comedy people who I really enjoy.
I have a drama person for you, as you kept saying skinny face, who I thought of.
Sure,
is
Justin Long.
No, I thought of a Noah Wiley from The Pit.
Oh, Noah Wiley. I like that a lot. That'd be great. Although he's too like serious and like sexy, I think like that. Like John Turturro's like more of a weirdo. Like I need that weirdo stuff. Like
he is too serious and sexy.
Do you know what I mean? He's sort of like I feel like he's the type of person who like when he turns up to like, let's get down to business. Like women are like, all right, bro, you're a doctor, and like I don't have that pull. Do you know what I I'm like more like neurotic, and I think like I need some neurotic energy, you know.
You're no, I don't really consider you neurotic,
Good.
but
Then I'm no Wiley.
but I would say like you were more like playful though.
Okay, like a Noah Wiley who like who's running the pit and like makes some mistakes.
I think it's more like, yeah, like it. I mean, that's just like who he is on TV. That's not who he is in real life.
But listen, if you're in ER and the pit,
that's who you are.
You are a doctor.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you might as well just be a doctor at this point. It's true. Yeah. Okay, cool. I love it. Well, we should wrap it up there. But thank you everyone so much for listening and tuning in. Appreciate you so much. Remember to like, subscribe, leave a positive review if you have a moment. We always appreciate that. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks everybody. Peace.
Bye.